Sydney and Allie back at it. And today we are going to talk about Materialists and How to Train Your Dragon. This was a little delayed because I unfortunately had to wait to see them. I was in Hawaii, not near a movie theater, and I was texting Sydney as soon as I literally got home and then I went to the movie theater and I wanted to see them. So we're now going to talk about them. Which one are you going to talk about first?
Let's have Materialists.
Okay. I liked it.
I liked it. I was not expecting to like it because like all the reviews going in were like so negative. Like not even negative. I just think maybe like
People were making fun of it.
yes, people were making fun of it
Yeah.
and like I just saw a lot of like people being like they've got love all wrong. Like this is not like a modern love story like it says it is, but like
Yeah.
I thought it was. Like I
I thought
personally
it was.
thought it worked.
Yeah. I thought its whole messaging was like, you can totally disagree with me, but I thought it was kind of calling out people being materialistic.
Yeah.
Because, like at the beginning, she was like, I'm only going to get married if he's rich and has a nice penthouse. So in comes Pedro Pascal's character. And then he has all that. He checks all those boxes that she wanted materialistically, or like the
Yeah.
consumer side of everything. But when it came down to does she truly love him and that emotional connection, it just wasn't there. And
Yeah.
then Chris Evans's character, his name was John, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. He didn't check nearly any of the materialistic boxes like income that's steady, good place to live, any of that stuff. But he understood her on the emotional level and
Yeah.
loved her and she loved him. So like I thought that was a good message, but for some reason people did not think that was a good message.
I know. I think I guess like the critique is like should love be like the guiding force? Like
Hmm.
or like if you are like coming from like a lower income, c- can you expect to stay at that lower income with all of society's like pressures?
Yeah.
I guess like they were kind of saying like she was romanticizing this idea of like being in a lower income bracket and like kind of negating a lot of the struggles. But
Hmm.
like I also feel like she did balance that well. So
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to unpack in 2 hours. Like
Literally.
I don't even think it was 2 hours, it was an hour and a half. Like that is a hard
Yeah.
to deconstruct. I think she might have been a little ambitious with her messaging,
Yeah.
but like also like Celine Strong is just one of those directors I find that like she's gonna she has a point and she's gonna make it
Yeah.
and she's only gonna show you her side, which like that's what a director should do. Like that's what we're there to see their perspective and their point of view on something. And so I feel like I don't negate her for that. Like I feel
No.
and I do agree with like some of the messaging in the film. I understand like the other points as well, like the critiques, but I do think from my perspective it worked really well.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Also, I think I didn't look too much into it, but I think I read that Celine, the director, was a matchmaker in New York City.
Yes.
So this could be her own experience
Yeah.
like added into a story she made up. So like that's totally like you said her perspective on things. But yeah, I think it's still a great message even in trying economic times. Like
Yeah.
you should feel courageous to lead with your heart if that's what you're feeling. Of course, yeah, could they live in New York City forever on this one income, or if he doesn't hit it big as an actor? Probably not.
Yeah.
But maybe, that's all for them to figure out in the future. But
Yeah.
I I really liked it. I thought it was also I feel like sometimes I'll go into movies and I'll think it's like it looks great, but sometimes I don't leave ever going like, oh, it was beautifully shot. This time I really did think it was like beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Like it was so beautiful. Like they captured that romanticness of a rom-com so well, but it still, was so natural looking too. Like I don't know how to describe it. It didn't feel like a gimmicky rom-com in any way, but it was like beautiful, like a
Yeah.
rom-com is sometimes, I don't
I
know
would
if I described
say
that
I
well.
think the characters' names were so rom-commy. Like
Yes.
Lucy, John, Harry, Sophie, Violet, Daisy. Like I just
Oh my God, I didn't notice they were all so
they're
rom-com.
so rom-commy and I just felt like that was like really like funny too. And very like New York City rom-com specific.
Yeah.
Like when Harry met Sally and like
Oh
I
my
just thought
God, you're
that
so
was
right.
like really like a cute touch, and I thought it
Yeah.
was like cool.
Great music too throughout the whole thing. Like,
Yes.
I really had no complaints. I went and saw it by myself too,
Yeah.
because a lot of my friends here had already seen it while I was in Hawaii. And there's so many movies coming out this month. Like
Oh
we
my
have a bunch planned we want to go see. I was like, it's okay. I'll just go see this one on my own. So I get to see it and then I'll go with everyone else later on. And I I was like enjoying it fully by myself, which I feel like sometimes is hard. Like sometimes
Yeah.
when you go to a movie, part of the fun is watching it with your friends and
Yeah.
being able to kind of like look at each other and be like, "Oh, what just happened?" or stuff like that. And this one, I was like literally on the edge of my seat by the end, like not knowing who she was
Yeah.
gonna pick, what
Yeah.
was going on at some points. Like I that was one thing that had me on the edge of my seat. At first I thought maybe sometimes with these love triangles there has to be a reason that like really drives the person away from one of the love interests to where it's like, oh, it's so clear you should pick this guy. And I never really saw that in this one, which I also really liked.
Yeah.
Like Pedro Pascal's, I mean, the one thing that like people like was his shock factor was his like he had that surgery that they talked about, like
Yeah.
where he made himself
That
taller.
was a crazy reveal.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
Like I'm still like look, I never looked into it. I guess it is possible,
I'm
but
like, wait,
yeah.
can you do it? Because like
Yeah, I
that's
guess I'll look into it. But anyway, but still, like it wasn't something like he's a terrible human being or something, which
no.
sometimes they might do. Like, do you remember like with like Hannah or Miley trying to choose between Jake and Jesse, and like you were
Yeah.
so divided, and then like she picked Jake, and then Jake cheated on her, so then she runs to Jesse. Like
Yeah.
there was a clear reason why she left, and then she went to the other guy. Like that
Yeah.
was never really here, I don't think.
No, like
Yeah.
honestly, I think truly she would have had like there would have been happiness for different reasons
Yeah.
either way. And I think that was also kind of realistic, is that it's like love, like obviously there's like the clear choice where she's gonna pick romance, but now like obviously she's gonna face like a lot of struggles like because of that choice.
Yeah.
And like on the flip side, like you have her picking Pedro where like she could, or I guess Harry, where she could like obviously have like really no worries and like her life is gonna be like super easy, but like she's not gonna feel like fully in love with him. And so it is really like that like conversation of like what are you willing to give up for love?
Yeah.
That was interesting too.
Yeah. And then, I mean, just the whole other added storyline of, I feel like that danger of being a matchmaker, like, obviously what she went through,
Ah,
I would feel as horrible as she did. And, like I didn't even consider that factor when I went into thinking about this as a
yeah,
career, like in the main character's headspace. And then I was like, well, no wonder like she's questioning everything by the end of the
right.
movie.
And
Yeah.
like I think like that was so like well portrayed too. Like 'cause
Mhm.
it was so romanticized at the beginning. Like, oh, you got your ninth client married. Like the
Yeah.
party and like balloons and cupcakes, like wine. And you're like, oh my God, like this is such a fun job. Like
Yeah.
I want to go work with all of them. And literally something I just noticed on like IMDb is like most of the matchmakers are named after flowers, like violet,
Cute.
rose. And like I think that's also like a little detail of like they're like picking out flowers, but also
Yeah.
like is there really any perfect pair? Like every
That
time.
is so cute.
And so, and like at the beginning of the movie, like how like you have like the caveman even like proposing with a flower, like there's like little details like that that I think like really show you how like romanticized things can be. And then when you flip it on its head and like really start to like tear it apart and realize like the consequences love can have, it's hard.
Yeah.
So, and I really appreciate Sophie's character. Like she was definitely a tough watch at parts because it's like that's like a deep fear, you know what I mean? Like you like
Yeah.
watch it and you're like she is literally like the character of like being alone and like she's like bearing that like on her sleeve. Like she's not ashamed to like own that, hire a
Yeah.
matchmaker. Like she's not ashamed to like recognize like that is a fear of hers and like she doesn't want to be alone. And I think that was so like true to modern dating today. It's like so easy to get caught up in, like hookup culture and like dating culture on like these apps where you're just swiping, but like you really like the whole reason you spent all that time swiping is just because like you're looking for connection. And I think
Yeah.
I really resonated with Sophie in that way.
Oh no, for sure. I totally agree with all of that. And I think that's just what's such an interesting thing about this matchmaking company, where it's like I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it's like she's trying to check all these boxes for Sophie too. And it's basically Tinder, but you're letting somebody else take it over if you think about it.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it's
and it's
real
more,
life Tinder.
yeah. And you're trusting somebody else to do it, which takes so much trust in that person who you hardly
Yeah,
know. And it's really interesting to see, yeah, Sophie's side, but then again, Dakota Johnson's character's side of like, wow, like I thought this person was perfect, but I was judging them by just everything I asked on paper, not like who they really were as a person.
yeah,
Which is a really interesting thing to think about too.
right.
But I did not notice the flowers thing throughout the whole. That
Yeah.
is, I need to do a rewatch. Like I
And
do
like
want to go
how
through.
like Harry gives her like the bundle of roses, but
Mm.
like John is like a daisy kind of guy. Like I think that's like an interesting
Wait,
kind
that's
of
so
little
cute.
like again like they represented in that way.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool. Also, I
I,
know this one shot was filmed the one scene where they're like fighting in their cars. It was
mm,
filmed 1 block from me. I was like, wait, I pass that restaurant like all the
no
time that
way.
they're fighting in front of.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't reveal where you live, but what if like my favorite restaurant over there was in the background and we didn't even notice?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
talking about?
funny. Yep. Yep.
Can you imagine they're fighting and I see it? I think I'd cry.
Literally, no, I was like watching, I was like, oh my, wait, I know that place. What the heck? Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Well, that's insane. What if you like looked out your I mean, I think this was well, no, this was filmed within the last year and a half. At least reshoots
yeah,
were recently. You could
I
I'm gonna
bet
watch
you,
even closer. You might be in the background.
I
But
know.
that's hilarious.
Oh,
But
so good.
okay, the one other thing, my friend Jordan brought this up, which I think was a great point. She thinks a lot of people are mad with the outcome of the movie because they're not separating Chris Evans and from John and Pedro Pascal from Harry.
Yeah,
Which, if you think about it, I mean, like, she's Dakota Johnson's got a great set of cards dealt to her. Okay, she has to choose between Pedro
yeah,
Pascal or Chris Evans. Like, that's
oh,
amazing. Oh, it must be hard, you know? But anyway, um, I think Pedro Pascal's what she was saying is like Pedro Pascal's so in his moment right now. Like
yeah,
he's like the it boy. Like everyone, he's in everything. Everyone loves
true.
him. He's so charming. He's like, you don't go a day without seeing him in something in the press.
Yeah,
Whereas Chris Evans is is Chris Evans. He
yeah,
was Captain America at one point. Like he's a huge star too. But like Pedro Pascal's like in his like moment where it's like
yeah.
so saturated right now.
Oh, yeah.
So
It'd
I
be
feel
like
like Sophie,
2014 for Chris Evans.
yes, yeah. Or like if this like they both have had their times where like they were at
Yeah,
the height of you
yeah,
know heartthrob. So I think that's another reason why so many people are like, why'd she pick
right.
Evans because they can't help but see Pedro Pascal, which
And
I
but
totally can see.
I feel like that also goes to the point though, like,
Yeah.
isn't that part of the point? Like Harry
Yeah.
is like the perfect guy. Like he's
Yeah.
charming, he's handsome, he's rich. Like,
Yeah.
girl, what more could you want? But then like you start to peel back the layers and it's like you realize maybe Harry's not like this perfect guy, or maybe
Oh
he's
yeah.
not the perfect guy for her. And I think it's like when we can idealize someone like Pedro Pascal, it's like you can also idealize someone like Harry, like his
Yeah.
character, but like that doesn't make him the perfect person for that
For her.
individual.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's also
Exactly.
like it's all tied. And it's like
Yes.
I that's what I really appreciate the movie too, is I felt like everything just had a nice little bow on it. Like I feel like
Mhm.
everything was just tied up so perfectly. Like even at the end where like the final scene takes place in front of the Natural History Museum and it's the
Oh, I didn't even
exhibit.
know.
Yeah, it's the exhibit about the
Oh my
caveman.
gosh, I need to do a
And then it's like
rewatch.
goes back all the way to the first like scene with like the first people that
That's so
fell in
cute.
love. And it's like fun to see how that ties together. And I
Yeah.
mean like it kind of goes back to like that whole idea of like history is always like repeating itself. And I think Celine's song does that really good in like past lives as well. Like how like you have like this childhood romance kind of brought into the modern day. Like obviously it doesn't like work out in that way. Like she's already with someone else, but like
Yeah.
um, it's kind of like that way in this film too, where it's like you're looking at the past of like what first love was like the very first
Yeah.
people fall in love, and like how modern dating of like this whole like swiping addiction and like trying to make a really fast connection
Yeah.
and like all the materialist things that we're looking for nowadays, like kind of like if we were just like stripped like to the bare bones of like who we were as like people, like the first people to fall in love, like what would you like fall for? And I think like that was a really cool way to like tie in all these themes. So that
Oh,
like felt really cool to me.
no, I couldn't agree more. Like that is so good. Also, I was just thinking how you were mentioning, you know, all the details of this, like the Natural History Museum, the names of the flowers, all that. I hope A24 releases like a coffee table book like they did for Midsummer or Lady Bird. They've done them for other movies. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head because I would so buy this one.
Oh my God, yeah.
I
So
can already see it like on a coffee table and it would be so beautiful.
so
But
beautiful. Also, like
okay, now,
the whole wedding crashing scene needs to be in a book too. Like that whole
oh
scene,
my
I love
gosh,
that whole sequence. That
I
was
loved
incredible.
that.
Yeah.
No, I loved that. Another thing that was so cool is you could tell how different even her style was going from being with Harry to
Yes.
literally a day later going to the wedding with John. Like it was
Yeah.
like so different, which you could tell like it almost felt like maybe she was trying to be someone she thought she had to be when she was at the wedding for
Yeah.
Harry's mother, who she was the client or who was
Yeah.
her client. And then versus when she was with someone who she felt totally comfortable to be herself around. I just thought that was really cool
True.
too. Like she was in a dress that didn't match her sneakers whatsoever. And it looked like she
No.
couldn't, you know, like which I thought was really cool. But
Oh
all right. To end the materialist review, who would you pick?
my
Based on
God.
the yeah.
Ah, ah. I think I pick Harry. I like a more
Harry?
like I like kind of like a more like quiet guy and like
Yeah.
the guy that like kind of like those little things like make you breakfast in the morning and like checking
Mm.
on you. And so like for me, I'm not an artsy girl either. I like don't like the artsy guys. So I'm gonna go Harry. I'm going to Harry. What about you?
You know, I asked this question and I don't know which one I'd pick. Like I'm like
Hey.
so up in the air about it. I think I liked, you know, I feel like I might pick, gosh, okay, I'm gonna have to think about it. But the point I will make is if I picked Harry, the reasons I want to pick John are because how he was there for her emotionally. But she didn't give Harry the chance to be there for her emotionally,
I
is
think
another thing.
Harry could have gotten there.
Like if she had come clean about like the scene where she calls John in tears about what's happened at work and she needs someone to listen, I think if she had told Harry, Harry would have helped. I don't know how he
Exactly.
would have helped, like if he would have just sat there and listened like Chris Evans' character did, or if he would
Yeah.
have tried to do something else. But I feel like in my heart of hearts, I would think he would have been just as much help. So I don't know. I'm gonna make that our graphic for the week, so I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
sleep on it. But yeah,
Check
okay.
Instagram, guys. Check
Yeah,
Instagram.
check Instagram and follow it. Yeah. But okay. Moving on to How to Train Your Dragon. This is the best remake I've ever seen in my life.
So good. I think the best, yeah, honestly, the best live action
It was
with
so good.
animated, like literally
Yes.
can't do better. Like, ah,
It was also like it, they could have really like gone a whole different way with animating Toothless. He looked so good.
so good. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that they didn't make the dragons realistic.
Oh, yeah. No, I loved he
But
had the big eyes and yeah.
yes, like I feel like that's where a lot of the Disney remakes kind of fall in the hole.
Oh, like
Like
Flounder.
try to make it, yeah, like Flounder, even a little bit Stitch, although Stitch is like a little more
Or
animated.
like the characters in Beauty and
Yeah.
the Beast, the
Yeah. Like
ornamental things,
the
like
clock, the
yeah, they looked
candelabra,
too real.
too real. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like that's not like the point. Like the point is
Mhm.
that they are like characters. And so I like that. And I think it's because it was DreamWorks that put it together.
Yeah.
Is that like they did blend animation and like live action so beautifully. And I feel like that really made it soar, like in terms of like a remake and like
Yeah.
homage to it.
I think that's another reason, like, I was just thinking how you were comparing it. Like the Scooby-Doo remakes that came out in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Scooby does not look real. He looks
No,
pretty
but
lifelike, but
he's
he's
a
got
talking
cartoon
dog.
features to him. Yeah, he's a talking dog one, but he's got like cartoon features to him. He's got that huge
Yeah.
snout with like a face that like makes actual facial expressions and like he's got the huge paws that like, flare
Yeah.
out. Like he doesn't look like a regular dog. You can tell he's animated, but he still looks like Scooby-Doo in like a dog.
Exactly. And like
So,
it's an
yeah.
animated movie. That's like the point. Like
And yeah, another thing is I think I also liked the costuming. Like you said, they could have made it look way too accurate. Like
Yeah.
and it just felt too like gritty and serious. But no, there was like playfulness to
Yeah.
their like you could tell like they made Gerard
Gerard
Butler
Butler.
Gerard Butler look huge. Like he's a big guy, like big muscular guy, but
Yeah.
they made him look like a
Yeah.
like cartoon strong Viking, which I thought was so
Exactly.
fun.
Yes. No, I
Yeah.
think that was like, and like we all know these aren't real Vikings. Like these aren't real Vikings going off of
Yeah.
dragons. Like this is obviously not grounded in realism. And I think that's like
Exactly.
something that Disney kind of forgets is like these stories aren't realistic. And so it's okay to kind of still push in that magicalness that like comes with those. So like having like they're overly strong guys, having like the kind of like fun costumes and like and it's
Yeah.
it makes it more fun, I think.
Another thing that I want to add to that is it was like bright colors the whole time. Like
Yes.
I think sometimes a critique that other live action movies will get is like it is so dark, which I don't know what the reasoning is. I'm not a VFX person at all, but like maybe it's to maybe cover up some of how overtly animated things look. I
Yeah.
don't, that's what I've always thought. But like this was like bright the whole way through. Like it was very vibrant and good colors and it could have easily they could have easily like made it feel more real by making it like more darker toned and everything, but also like
Yeah.
leaned into making it maybe more animated in that sense and then hiding it by it being super dark, but they didn't, which I liked.
Yeah. No, I agree. And
Yeah.
I mean, I love how this story highlights nepo babies and daddy issues. I mean, like really what's not a more modern story? Like,
I honestly like I couldn't. I was debating if I was gonna watch How to Train Your Dragon, like the animated ones, before going into the live action. And I'm
yeah,
so glad I didn't because I felt like I was just seeing it for the first time again too.
same.
And like going in, I was like, I think I remember this story for the most part. But then as I was watching it, I was like, they really did like shot for shot. Like it was all coming
Yeah.
back to me, which I think is so cool. And I think this is one of the first movies, if not the first movie, that's had the same director for the live action and the original animated
I
one.
didn't know
I believe it's the
that.
same guy, which
That's
is why it's
cool.
so, I would argue why it's so like authentic and accurate, and probably
Yeah.
why he stuck to making him still look kind of cartoonish and letting it be
Yeah.
bright and like the characters were so well casted because it was the same creator. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, as our since we're both Wicked stands, I love seeing Bronwyn James
I
in
didn't
this
even
story.
realize it was her. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't
Yes.
remember who this
I was
was.
watching it and I was like, I'm 95% sure, but
Yeah, it's
it's
because
like
she had the
such a
blonde
different
hair.
character that I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. She looks, I mean, wow. I was like, girl, get your flowers, girl. Like,
It was
you are
so
getting those
funny.
big budget movies and you're getting those like hilarious roles down. Like, amazing.
They did a press interview. The guy, I'm forgetting his name, but who was trying to impress Astrid the whole time, the other
Oh my
in
gosh,
the
yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Not
he
or
is
something.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it's got snot in it. I know.
Not
But
lot.
yeah, but they were in a press junket interview and the interviewer mentions Wicked to Bronwyn and he turns around and goes, "You were in Wicked?" Like he had no idea. And that's how I felt when
So
it finally clicked who she was and I was so
funny.
excited. Yeah.
I love that.
No, literally.
Also, I thought it was so funny that Peter Serafinowicz, I don't know if that's how you say his name.
Okay.
He's the dad of Snotlout, so the dad
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah, just like shuts him down immediately. But he like hosts like a Netflix game show that just came out a few months ago, like that like $1 million secret or something.
Oh,
And
okay. I
I
think I know
thought
what
it
you're
was
talking
so
about.
funny. I was
Yeah.
looking at him, I was like, I've seen you recently.
No, that's what I
Oh,
was like with
yeah.
which one is she? Is she Tough Nut or the other
Rough
one?
net.
Rough Nut, yeah. But okay, also I mean we have to talk about the casting of Astrid and Hiccup. It was so
Yeah,
good.
so
That kid
good.
was born to play Hiccup. I can't believe he was
Oh
only
my
like
God.
16 or 17.
Yes. And he
Yeah,
was perfect.
so good.
He like played like for like this being like his first like really, really big budget
He
thing.
had done the
No.
Black Phone, which I know was like
Yeah.
very popular in the scary movie world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this
But
is his first big blockbuster.
he was amazing. Like he like was actually
So
like
good.
incredible. he was such a like a dynamic person to watch. Like he almost had like cartoonish facial expressions.
Very much so.
And like he really like got the like I was crying.
Oh my
Like
God,
I really
my
I was
brother,
in the head.
who is 4 years younger than me, was making so much fun of me because he was like, you were in there like you were a 6-year-old kid. Like you
Yeah,
were freaking out. Like you knew Toothless was gonna be okay, but you were
yeah.
sitting there going, Toothless! And like
I was
pulling
so
at him.
anxious for
No,
Toothless. I
I
was
was
like, let
so
my boy out. Let him
scared.
out.
And for a Hiccup, like when Hiccup fell, I knew Hiccup was gonna be okay. I
We
knew he
knew
was
like
gonna
it was
survive,
gonna be
but
up. I'm like, come
I was
on.
so
I
invested.
know. I know. And like I'm so glad they like kept like the story the same. Like where like
Yeah.
he loses his leg and like it's sad,
Yeah.
but like it's such a powerful thing. Like they're like so connected. I thought it was so cute.
Oh
And
my
like
gosh.
just what a I'm getting emotional just
No,
thinking
it
about it.
was
Like
so good. Like
so
I want to go see it
impactful
again.
story.
No,
And
like it
like
was so,
Nico Parker,
so
girl,
good. She is so cool.
stunning.
So
Stunning.
pretty. So I like followed her on
Um
Instagram immediately and I was
oh
like
yeah.
pinning all her outfits on Pinterest. Yeah.
Yeah, she is such a baddie and
She's so cool.
like she killed this role. Like
She was the
killed it
perfect Astrid. She like captured her personality so well.
so
And
well.
she and Mason Thames had such good chemistry,
Yeah.
which, oh my God, like it was so cute watching them. People are comparing them to Tom and Zendaya, like little baby Tom and Zendaya.
Oh, I
But
love
he's
that.
dating McKenna Grace.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know
Look
that.
it up. I keep
What?
getting like TikTok, like I don't know why, but I keep getting fan edits of them. I think they're
That's
starting a movie
so
and they're
funny.
like
That's
dating. And
so
I'm
funny.
yeah. But he
Also,
yeah.
I love seeing Julian Dennison in here.
Oh,
Six
love
Flags.
him.
He cracks me up every role. Like I
He was
cannot with
so
him.
funny in this.
I love
Oh my
it.
gosh. And okay, I think the guy who plays, I'm forgetting his name, but like the professor who's like training them in the simulations
Oh
with the
yes,
dragon. I think
Dauber.
he's yeah, I think the actor was cast to play Hagrid in the new Harry Potter.
Oh
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
my gosh.
Wait, before I completely
Wait.
get to that, let me see.
I think so. He has. He has.
He has? Okay.
Oh, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be
Yeah. Because
good.
he kind of had that vibe in this too, like
Yeah,
a Hagrid type.
very, very much. A
Yeah.
tough love.
But like we should have known this was going to be good because wasn't it approved for a sequel like as it was being
I don't
released?
know. We
Yeah, we
should
should have
have
known.
done.
Yeah.
But like it still blew me away. Like
I
literally
was so
the
good.
twins were perfect. Like
Just tens all around. I think I definitely want to go see it in theaters again.
same.
And oh my gosh, I'll send it to you, but I was watching like a shot for shot comparison of the live action versus the cartoon of them touching like Toothless, like when he does like and reach out to touch
Oh, so you
Toothless's
want me to
head.
cry? So you
It
want
was
me to
so accurate. Oh, I if I
cry?
had to see it, you will too.
Okay.
It was so good. And like I think that really goes to show like I mean, yeah, if the first guy did it so well, let him do the live action too.
Right? Right? God forbid.
If it ain't broke.
Forbid. Why fix?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts about How to Train Your Dragon?
I want the second one. Like I
No,
want the story to continue. Like it's just such like a sweet story and I think it has such impactful messages. I'm like,
I
kids
couldn't
should
agree
go see
more.
it and adults should go see it too.
I
Like
could
it
not agree
has
more.
such a good way of showing both generation sides
Yeah.
and I think it stands the test of time.
And like Toothless just reminds you of like your dog.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I think I
yeah.
even think like when they were testing out too that they even like brought in a dog or something. I feel like I remember that from like years ago. But like
Yeah.
so fun, like and such a
No, and I think that's why you love him so much because
right?
it's like watching a human and a dog connect, you know? And
Yeah.
like I too would completely storm a dragon infested island to save
Yeah.
my dog. So
Like exact like literally. And like
yeah.
that's the other thing, it's like like the dad is like it's so frustrating watching him be so stubborn, but it's also like you can't help but also root for him because he just wants to keep his son safe. And
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
what
so
also makes it so good is like there's no really villain in the story. There's
Mm-mm.
no one like ever like that's it. Like even when Snot Lout is like being annoying, like he's not like a
Yeah.
villain at the end of the day, like he
He just wants
helps
to
them
impress his
beg the
dad.
dragons. Like at the end
Yeah.
of the day, there's no villain until the very end, and I think that's also because you don't really see that in a lot of kids' movies. You always have to
Yeah.
have someone like that's like
Like an
the evil
clear
person.
antagonist. Yeah.
Yeah, and like this is just a story that proves like No, like everyone has their own reasons for why what they're doing, and like it's just a story about acceptance, and like I think that's so cute.
Yeah, no, I could go on and on about this one, but
Okay.
we're so excited for the sequel. I'm pretty sure the sequel is already slated for a release year. I don't know about a release date.
I need
So,
that. I need
so
that.
exciting. And they made three, or did they make four?
There's
Like original
three, and
animated.
then there's
There's
like a
three.
TV
And
show.
then yeah, and there was a TV show. Okay, so like
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll get a third.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited. I can't wait for this little franchise to keep growing. And yeah, we loved it. I want Toothless as a bag charm. I don't
Oh,
know. Can we get Jellycat on the
your own
phone?
Labubu. Toothless Labubu.
Boo boo.
That's the name of this episode. Toothless Labubu. Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, now that our business has been attended to, great job.
See you next week, girly pops. Thank you.
Bye.